welcome to the fourth in this Lenten series of Faith and Doubt. For this session, I've chosen two poems by one of the greatest of the 20th century English language poets, R.S. Thomas. Thomas, a priest who, in his own words, served in grey parishes in Wales, was a prolific poet. First and foremost, he is celebrating Wales and Welshness. And I think one does have to have a certain understanding of Wales to appreciate some of the nuances and some of the depth of his poems. Also central to much of his work, as you would expect of a priest, is the whole matter of faith. And for Thomas, faith is not a straightforward or even a particularly comfortable notion. There is a great struggle, a great wrestling evident in his poems, and yet at their heart there is a glorious belief in the sovereignty and providence of God. So the first poem is called Via Negativa. Now, the Via Negativa, or the way of negation, is a part of classical spirituality. Perhaps its most famous manifestation is the cloud of unknowing. Negation, by its very terminology, sounds negative. But this should not be seen as anything that is dour, but rather a way of apprehending God, but by refusing to attribute to God any of the senses or understandings or indeed words that inform our human existence and daily life. The Via Negativa declares that God is so transcendent, so far above, so other, that we cannot use human language of experience in order to apprehend God. What we must do is to pierce the mystery, the God who is not understandable, the God who cannot be contained, the God who refuses to be hemmed in by definitions or concepts which apply to humanity. It's rather a bold strategy. It takes a lot of faith. But as we have come to understand, faith and doubt are adjuncts, not opposites. And nowhere more than in Thomas's writings can one see this extraordinary relationship, this symbiosis between faith and doubt, leading to a core ground belief. So, Via Negativa. Why no, I never thought other than that God is that great absence in our lives, the empty silence within, the place where we go seeking, not in hope to arrive or find. He keeps the interstices in our knowledge, the darkness between stars. His are the echoes we follow, the footprints he has just left. We put our hands in his side, hoping to find it warm. We look at people and places as though he had looked at them too, but miss the reflection. And as you begin to look at that poem, think about the Via Negativa, the mystery of God, the impenetrable mystery of God, that mere humanity cannot, by force of intellect, pierce. I draw to your attention particularly these lines, which to me are extraordinarily powerful. God is that great absence in our lives, the empty silence within, the place where we go seeking, not in hope to arrive or find. And such an apprehension of God is done not for transitory or immediate human benefit, there is none of that in the Via Negativa, but rather to pierce the mystery. And in that mystery, which cannot be explained and which cannot be quantified, there we apprehend the mystery and the presence of God. He keeps the darkness between stars. So I hope you found looking at the Via Negativa a challenge, because it is, but also you begin to understand what R.S. Thomas is doing in this apprehension of the mystery of God. Now here's the second of his poems I've chosen, and it's called Folk Tale. And again, there are echoes of the Via Negativa. There is no easy comfort or solace, but yet there is that jewel of the Christian life, which is hope. Because when all else is stripped away, there is always hope. So here is R.S. Thomas's Folk Tale. Prayers, like gravel flung at the sky's window, hoping to attract the loved one's attention, but without visible plaques to let down for the believer to climb up. To what purpose open that far casement? I would have refrained long since, but that peering once through my locked fingers, I thought that I detected the movement of a curtain. So Folk Tale, you'll see at once that it's based on the children's story of the princess living up in the tower who lets down her plaits of long hair so that her adorer may climb up. But in Echoes of the Via Negativa, Thomas is saying, no, that's not what prayer is, looking for plaits to climb up, because God is mysterious and transcendent, and he is far above the climbing of any human mind or heart to attain. Prayers like gravel flung at the sky's window, hoping to attract the loved one's attention. And in this great mystery, in this cloud of unknowing, Thomas asks the very reasonable question, why? Why bother if there's nothing to climb up, if you can't attain the top of the tower where the object of desire is? Why bother? But we have to turn the whole thing on its head. It's not us who have to climb up and achieve. We cannot achieve God. What an impertinence to even think that we might. But rather, we wait for those rare moments of God revealing himself. I thought that I detected the movement of a curtain. The loved one is there. God is there. He looks down on us. It is an impertinence to think that we may climb to him. We simply wait for him to reveal himself to us. I'm always put in mind when I read this poem of the great American Quaker John Greenleaf Whittier. We may not climb the heavenly steeps to bring the Lord Christ down. In vain we search the greatest deeps, for him no depths can drown. So often in our Christian pilgrimage we think it's all about us. what we have to do, what we have to believe, what we have to say, and somehow if we can do and believe and say enough, we will attain God. And the Via Negativa corrects that. It bids us simply pierce into the mystery of the transcendent God, He who is our Creator, our Redeemer, and our Sustainer. And we have to be alert to detect the movement of the curtain.